Good morning, folks. So, alright. So, good morning, folks. I'm just a little more prepared than I was last time. In terms of today's workout, I did think about, I was like, oh, I could do the same workout but with the anchor lower. And I'm like, that's kind of like cheaty. So, I just realized I'm still wearing my slippers. Because it's cold again. We're entering that, the stages of the false spring. Today, why do I like this? We'll be doing cable, D2, which is starting at the opposite hip and coming out. I'd say probably the major difference between like D2 versus just doing this with a cable machine is that, and this goes back to the previous video, you don't want as much scapular movement with this. The cable will like fly type movements for the shoulder in any direction, whereas with this one you want to feel that shoulder blade move and even round a little bit. And so this is one of my more like rehab based movements than necessarily a strength movement. Otherwise, I am pretty sore. I'm not awfully sore. Did deadlift with the straps, and I was able to that very typical progression I've had of like 15, 10, and like 8, or 15, 9, and 8, something like that. And so my back is actually, I think, a little less sore than I expected it to be. But that's right, we're going to pile on this. So we're going to do cable D2 or band-based D2, depending upon what you have, curls, and then ab rollout. But I don't have an ab rollout or ab roller. I only have floor sliders. So we're going to see how that works. This is started. Alright, so that was a little more burny than I expected. So like I said, I like this as more of a rehab-based movement than anything, so I can really feel a little bit of everything. So on one of those reps, I kind of felt like my shoulder blade kind of got away from my rib cage, so I had to like focus on closing it down a little more. And then I felt my shoulder kind of clunk. So kind of like that tendon snapping over something to whatever. And so I had to adjust that again. Now it's time for the left side. All right. So we managed 14 on that left shoulder. Lots of clicking and popping on that side. So that felt bad. Well, it didn't feel bad, it just didn't feel right. So, because I was a little more burny than I expected, I'm going to cut the weight in half by reducing the band. I didn't double it up. And like if you're gonna do this off of bands, yeah, I would suggest the lighter resistance band. This one tells me that it's 10 pounds. Well, where is it 10 pounds? I don't know, but it's 10 pounds. So if you're doing the weight stack off a cable machine, again, go light. I don't think this is as much of a free weight activity. You can do this with a partner, right? They're pushing on your wrist as you pull up, and then they're trying to push you down, but you're resisting. But it's just me in here, so I gotta work with the cable. So still a little bit of burning, but 15 reps of almost anything, and you'll get that. Let's see here. Well, first off, right? I'm not sure if I filmed this or not, but right, I got my hair cut and a nice cowlick right now. So, what's your favorite kind of calorie tracking app or like weight loss app? I mean, I got turned on to MyFitnessPal and I've been using it for years, so I know how to work with it and set it up. Okay, I'm not, you know what, let me rephrase it. Instead of app, let me say website or app, because the MyFitnessPal app, I feel like it doesn't have the same functionality as the website. But trying to change, like, there's a few things I could grab about with MyFitnessPal in terms of its functionality. Like, when you go to try and change your plan, it'll give you recommended macro amounts based on percentages, which if you want to put in for grams, you have to pay for it. So I'm like, okay, I can work with it. But trying to figure out how to edit those percentages is like, I always end up having to click the same, like I have to click around through it for like 10 minutes just to find the right one. And when I say 10 minutes, I mean, it's not immediately obvious how quickly. So, I felt like I might have not been able to do a drop set on that left side because I just didn't have enough space to go left or go towards the anchor, because I got a bunch of crap on the floor here that you can't see on purpose. So now that I've reduced the resistance, there's no clicking, there's no popping, snapping. Definitely a little bit of fatigue in the shoulder, but nothing crazy. And like I said, in terms of like that clicking, snapping, popping, that was gone. So going back to kind of some PT rehab focused stuff. Like a lot of times we like PT rehab stuff with a societal, cultural implication. We tend to not load at all, right? Because we're sedentary, we sit for jobs, we sit. Like, you wake up, like I don't stand to prepare my meals during the week at all, because it's all in a Tupperware container, because I did that all Sunday. But it's like, okay, so I just throw my food into the microwave and then I sit down and sip on my coffee. Some people wake up, get in their car, sit in the drive-thru, get into the drive-thru, eat, walk into work, which is 50 steps, 100 steps, and then sit down for 8 hours with a lunch break in between. So there's really no loading occurring, and this is kind of like a little bit of a Great Cook thing, but also like other people, like Great Cook FMS based thing, right? I'm still a fanboy. Is what am I trying to say? To think that going to the gym for 45 minutes to an hour can offset that kind of behavior is just it's better than nothing, but again, we can do better. So, the fact that we don't have some sort of regular physical activity throughout our day is probably a significant, it is a significant contributor to a lot of our current health issues. But I'm not also blind as to why that is. So, let's say you are you're working a white collar job in the around the DC area. But you've got a family, so you don't necessarily want to live right next to DC since it's a little bit of an older community, and frankly, maybe the schools aren't as good unless you're going to look at private options, but you don't make that kind of money, so you move out into the burbs. So now you could have an hour to an hour and a half hour commute daily, one way. So let's say you do 9 to 5 or 9 to 5:30. So you're at work from 9 to 5:30 plus another 2 to 3 hours of commute time. So now you're up to, let's just say, 11 hours of your day has been dedicated to work, plus the fact that you had to get up an hour early for work. So that's, that's your preparation of like shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, if you have kids, family, whatever, a little bit of time to interact with them. So you're up to 12 hours, which means you only have 4 hours left of the day. So you still need to eat dinner, still need to do some chores, do whatever you need to do to get ready for the next part of the day, right? Whether that's maybe you're someone who makes their oatmeal fresh every day or something like that, right? So, and then you also need to spend quality time with your family. So when are you supposed to fit all that in? Plus exercise, plus being physically active. Oh, get the family involved. Well, if you're married, right, the wife just did that as well. Kids? I mean, right now, like, I remember coming home from high school and being like, I have 5 hours worth of homework. This is some bullshit. And frankly, I wouldn't do a whole lot of it. So, and also on the flip side of, like I go back to somebody telling me that it would have cost them $700 to play one season of rec baseball. Not a traveling league. They get a t-shirt and like a ref, I guess, or an umpire, and like use of the field while they turn the lights on. I'm like $700 for one season. That is insane. You don't get any equipment. You still have to bring your own water, your own Gatorade, your own shoes, right? Like, if you get injured, there's no athletic trainer there to take a look at you. So, I'm just like, this is, so it's, you know, it's becoming also more and more expensive to keep active. $40 a month to join the gym isn't bad for me. Planet Fitness does have an option for $10 a month. Are their billing practices kind of scummy? I think sometimes, yes, but you know, too far. This is also where like can you like gardening. Gardening is stupidly expensive. And that's only if you have a viable area to grow, meaning, hey, I live in an apartment that doesn't have a patio. I can't really grow a whole lot. Right? You can grow some things, like maybe some herbs, which isn't bad. It's, I mean, better than nothing. I could probably buy some pots and put them out on my deck. But I'm not entirely sure that my homeowners association would let me plant them in the ground. And that's where, but homeowners associations suck. Yeah, drive past an area that doesn't have a homeowners association, and if you see like 6 cars in one yard, you can thank a homeowners association that doesn't happen. All right, so same thing. I'm stepping on the band to do these curls. I do not have a bar, and the kettlebells I have aren't necessarily designed for it. So we're gonna do like one set with the bands, and then I'm gonna do a little jerry rigging to make a modified curl with what I have. So here we go. Okay. Alright, that felt pretty good. And that's where, and like I said, so I'm more angry at the situation than I am at any individual person, because it's such a balancing act. Like, what do you choose? It's like, well, and that it is hard to kind of pick the most important, like, is exercise the most important thing when it's just for me? And that's where I feel like, there it goes. Like, we are not inherently selfish people, because we do want to help so much. But that many times we end up wanting to make sure that the people who matter most to us are helped first. So yeah, that kind of goes back to the fact that even if we we don't get a chance to load properly throughout the day, and that 1 hour burst of activity isn't potentially always the best way to do it. But there really isn't a good way to do that right now. And I'll give you a more PT specific example in a second. All right. 3, 4, 6. So I took daisy chain here and wrapped it around the kettlebell so I could keep my palms up. Chewed the hell out of my hands, so would not recommend. So that was a little heavier and a little distracting in terms of the hands. So wouldn't recommend a daisy chain for doing curls at home. So kind of 2 examples. For like why I feel like underloading or no loading kind of leads us to the issues that we have. I had a patient at one point who went from he grabbed something here to bring it to his waist. Tore basically his entire rotator cuff, as far as I remember. So how is that a symptom of underloading or non-loading? We don't work up here on a regular basis anymore. And it's like, again, there's no like sweet spot. Like either everything you do is up here or nothing. So his body wasn't used to being in this position. It didn't know how to keep him safe and stable, so that when he went this way, it was just like, well, we gotta move, and all 4 of them went. Potentially an even easier scenario is just bending over. We don't work off of the ground. We don't work in a variety of positions. We're either standing or sitting or laying. Like, there's no work in those in-betweens. You go to bend to pick something up, and that you feel that, my back. Then we don't bend over at all. I enjoy gardening, I enjoy fresh tomatoes, so what do I need to do? I need to be able to kind of walk around that bush at, sometimes awkward angles to pick the fresh tomatoes, to pull the rotten ones or the ones that look strange. Being able to weed, being able to get down onto my knees and be able to come back up. So, all right, so now I'm going to use my big elastic band for these curls. 1, 2. All right. 6. 8. Ooh, only managed 8. So that's where a lot of this movement stuff might be coming, because I did listen to FMS mailbag, kind of like, so people sending questions and the founders there answered it. So yeah. that if, like, they felt like, and again, my interpretation, they may have had a different meaning. If more people focused on like quality of movement over just lifting big weights, right? And that what they're doing isn't necessarily like what they would like people to do is focus on like, how can I make my body move the best way? And that could be a lot more mental work than physical work. So rolling, can you lay on your back and just use one arm to help you roll over to the other side? What about one leg? What about both legs? And then from your belly, can you do the same thing back? Can you do, like they mentioned, the Turkish get up again, which now that I'm accustomed to it, I enjoy doing it more. Can you do a good Turkish get up? What points seem imbalanced and steady? Practice that 100 times. Don't use any weight, just hold your fist over your head. Fist over head. Okay. Damn you. My camera skills are, my bad camera skills are showing. All right. This here, little turn that way. All right, so I'm going to attempt this ab rollout with the floor slider here in a second. Oh, so interesting fact, or my abs, my lower abdominals were sore. So just from practicing that stomach vacuum for those 4 sets for 1 minute, my lower abs were definitely sore. So, yeah, I'd recommend you do them. All right, so common mistake. I know Athlean X has covered this, is that too many times people will substitute their hip flexor for abs, and this is true in this case as well. So, pretend I've got the ab wheel here, right, that they'll come all the way out and then they'll sit onto their heels. But if your knees are coming up towards your chest regularly, this is more of a hip flexor based movement versus if you come out and then you use your abdominals to squeeze in and you see more of this cat back thing almost. That's where it becomes more of a abdominal based movement. So let's see if I can't do that without screwing it up myself. So right, here we go. All right, this is the hip flexor based movement. Right, so this is quote unquote wrong versus I don't want to have my thighs move at all. Alright. Of course, the other issue is that this is a very dominant upper body movement as well. in order to keep yourself stable. So that gets me in trouble on my end. I'm also starting to warm up, which is grand. So let's see if I can do it right today. I like doing this in 3 directions. So the first one is just straight up ahead, and then we go a little arc to the right or a little arc to the left, and then switch, and then the last set is straight ahead again, so that you can get a little work on the obliques through this. So right today, my biggest issue is probably the fact that my upper back is kind of sore, because again, I did the heavy deadlift, followed it up with rows yesterday, and I also did bench. So yeah, so my rows, I ended up doing like that 15, 10, and 8 of rows, and I'm not surprised by that, considering I went into yesterday's workout with my back already a little sore, and then I did heavy deadlifts, like that's why I need the straps, because my grip gives out, and deadlifts have a lot of back use, and then from there, finished it off with rows. It was like, I exhausted that muscle group. All right. So I realized as I was doing it that I was kind of letting my hands go first before my body went. So what I'm going to try and do is let my body and my hands move at the same time. So I did arc a little to the right. So if I had an ab wheel, this would be a lot easier, I feel like. But yeah, working with what you got. I need to do some testing with my TRX to see if, one, the door frame's going to hold me with that not thingamajig, because I don't want to fall, tear out the door, damage the door. So smart. All right, so we've got 10-ish minutes. Yeah, okay. So, mind-body connection on my right side sucks in comparison to my left side. So, if at any point I get a larger filming space, then I will if at any point I get a larger filming space, then I will try to work on some of those issues, and just show you guys like what I'm doing for myself aside from heavier work like this. All right. So I meant to weigh myself this morning, but I instead took a look at that master list of exercises that I have, and I was like, oh yeah, let's pick out the exercises. Completely forgot, started sipping on water. So I figure I'm still in that 174 to 175 range. But again, I'm not starving. I feel half decent. I feel like my workouts are fueled enough, and that right now it's more I need to adjust to regular training to feel like I'm not failing as hard as I am, and I'm not failing. It's like I'd like to be able to hit 3 sets of 15, but the fact that I just got back into working out, I may need a month to kind of get to that point where I can hit 3 sets of 15, or like 4 to 6, like 4 to 6, 4 to 8, maybe up to 12 weeks. And that's fine. We're all impatient. I get it. I'm no different, right? I want to see progress. I want to see progress before I've even done anything. All right. Yeah, I'm not quite getting what I want out of the floor sliders compared to the ab wheel. So that's that. So we did kind of some rehab based back work, fun little accessory exercise with the curls, and then kind of a challenging ab movement. So what I like is, we'll see how well I remember to do this. So I'm putting it at the end of the video, that these are going to start being posted up, that I'm going to clip the good looking reps, hopefully, into a GIF, and post that up onto Instagram as workout of the day. And so you just kind of follow along with that, and we'll see what happens. As usual, your criticism is maybe valued, who knows. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. I got stuff to do. Alright. If you did something today, folks, even if it wasn't what I did, that is fine. Keep working hard. Keep trying to do a little more every day. Bye.